Welcome everybody to this JMC Week webinar. It's January 31st, 2024. We call this one Stump the Experts. We're happy to have a great team here today. I'm gonna let people introduce themselves, but my name is Paul Freed. I'm a trainer here at JMC. I think I'm in my 19th year. I used to be a teacher up in the Twin Cities, and now I train for JMC. I also have a small farm in southeastern Minnesota, in Lake City, Minnesota, the home office of JMC. And I was telling folks here before, I've got my goats and llamas. I can see them out my window on the back pasture because it is a crazy warm day today. So I think we've got with us Linda. Linda, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Linda Hill, and I'm from the Cross Lake area, and we have a beautiful 46 degrees here in Cross Lake. And I live on a farm with a bunch of cows, Angus beef, and I joined JMC almost a year ago, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I think Matt Berlin is with us as well. He's been at JMC longer than I have. Matt, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Matt Berlin. I'm a developer here at JMC. I've been here for 26 years.
Well, that Matt could say a lot more. He's done a lot in his 26 years at JMC. Developed the first and second app. I think all three. The three apps, and does an incredible job. And also cares about education, and just also a friend of mine too. So I'm glad to have Matt with us today. We also have Rachel Cox. Rachel, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Hi, I'm Rachel Cox. I'm on the support to training team. I've been with JMC for just about a year. I am located in Fergus Falls, Minnesota, where it is also very warm and sunny. It looks much more like May than January outside.
Absolutely. And I think we have Sherry Phillips. Is that right, Sherry? Are you with us?
Absolutely. I'm Sherry Phillips. I'm actually here in Racine, Wisconsin, right between Milwaukee and Chicago. Yeah, there's no snow here. I'm going into my third season with JMC. I'm very excited about that, part of the support to training crew. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm here, Paul.
Great. And I want to make sure we had, that's right, plenty of folks to be able to answer any questions that people have. But, our goal is to make the software so easy you don't need support. But if you do, we're here to help. If you have a puzzler, now's the time to ask our expert team. Stump our panel, and some JMC swag is yours. So if you've got a question that we can't answer, I will send you some JMC swag. But overall, is there a JMC question or situation you have been working on that you can't figure out? And is there a modular feature within JMC that you don't know how to use or implement at your school? We can talk about those things as well. This is just kind of meant to be an open forum. Sometimes we get a lot of questions, sometimes we don't get any, but it's great to just kind of hear what people are looking for and looking at. It's your opportunity to ask questions at any time. Feel free to use that Q&A chat feature in your webinar toolbar to ask us your questions. We're going to start with some questions our tech support team heard from users like you. So Joe and Eric, I asked them, hey, what are some questions you've been hearing lately? They gave me, I think, 4 that Linda's going to read them, and I will answer them. And then we'll open it up and see if other people have questions as well. But any questions, any module, we're here to answer those questions for you. So Linda, why don't you start us off with question number 1?
Okay, question number 1. Why can't teachers see the Q3 link to submit their midterm grades in the JMC Teacher?
All right, well, by this time, we are well into the year. So I think at this point, everybody knows in JMC office, under grading, entry, down to grade acceptance, this is where you go to turn your grade acceptance on. If you want teachers to be able to submit Q3 midterm grades, you got to have midterm grades checked, and you got to have Q3 checked. So if that's the only thing you want them to be sending in, it would look something like this, right? We're not sending course grades in. We're not sending in standards and benchmarks for previous terms. We're only doing Q3 midterms, and I would save that. But that's the one thing to note there. I think where the reason people don't think about that is it's the end of semester 1. Semester 1 is done. They've come in here, they've turned their grade acceptance on. They might even just leave it on. It's, you can, if you want to, you can turn it off. They leave it like this. They think, oh, I've done that for the year, right? But when I do that, of course, I'm going to go to the JMC Teacher now. If I go to JMC Teacher and I'm just going to refresh on my home screen, it tells me, I can import grades for Q1, Q2, and so on. There's nothing there for Q3, and especially for midterms. So I'd want to come in here, and I'm just going to change it again, choose my midterm. I'm unchecking these because I don't want them to send these previous grades in, although they could if you want to be able to keep that open. And then click Save. Now that's open for Q3 midterms. So if I come back to my JMC Teacher, and I refresh again, it's going to say import midterm grades for Q3. This is the cool thing in the JMC Teacher. We tell them what term they can send those in for. So that was a great question that was passed on by Joe. All right, let's go on to the second question here. And if you've got a question about these ones, you can sure go ahead and put it in if I didn't answer it succinctly, but we'll keep on rolling. All right, Linda, question number 2.
Why do my teachers not see their semester 2 classes to take attendance in JMC Teacher?
A great question. Now, we always try to empower our teachers to make sure they understand what they need to do to run the JMC Teacher Portal. It's not hard, but you got to have a little bit of understanding there. So when I look at the JMC Teacher Portal, here's my JMC Teacher home. It is telling me that the term I've currently set here is quarter 1. So I'm not going to be able to see my semester 2 classes or my quarter 3 classes there. So what your teacher should do is they need to do 2 things. Number 1, go under File to Preferences, under File Preferences. And they need to change from either quarter 1, let's say we were in quarter 2. You would change from quarter 2 to quarter 3. That's one option. And that will allow you to see those quarter 3 classes. Another option that we added in JMC, I don't know, 5 years ago, is they could change it actually to semester 2. The cool thing about if you do semester 2 is it allows you to see quarter 3 and quarter 4 at the same time. So totally up to you, whatever that you want to do there. I'm gonna actually switch to semester 2 to show you what that looks like. And this is an auto save screen. So it automatically saves for me. So now once that's set, I need to go to my classroom attendance to enter attendance. And the first time I come here, you may need to change that term. Actually, it did it for me already. Okay, it's right there. It's under semester 2. But if they don't see it, they can choose their term here. We allow this here in case you need to go back and edit attendance or whatever that might be. But that's the semester 2. That'll allow me to see these particular courses there. So if I come here and I'm saying, oh, I want to say quarter 3, I sure can. I go back to File Preferences. It's the same thing for my classes. I'm set on semester 1 and semester 2. But just to show you what that looks like, change that to quarter 3. I'll go back here under Classroom Attendance to enter attendance. And now it shows, oh, actually it's still the same term. Oh, that's right, because that's the term type that it's in there. So they just want to make sure that they're not under semester 1. They are under semester 2. It will show all their quarter 3 courses and then the quarter 4 when that comes to be for that. But for me, I'm on semester courses. But the main thing is they got to go to File Preferences, change the term there. That's the main thing. If they come here and they still don't see it because, again, you're just on quarters or whatever it might be, make sure to choose that term in the top right-hand corner. Since we're on the screen, I love this new days and cycle option. If you're on block scheduling, where you've got some classes period 1 and 2 on the first day and 3 and 4 on day B, you can choose that course or that day listed right there will only show the courses for that particular day. So always trying to make this attendance screen easier as we go. All right, let's go to question number 3. Where you said we've got some good ones out here to kind of seed it. So again, you can start to type your questions in. I've only got 2 more questions to hear what you're looking for. All right, Linda, what do we got?
When I go to grading, entry, grade acceptance, and open it for course grades for quarter 2, why don't I see quarter 2 in the drop-down list for the grade submissions log?
That's right. So that's a great question. A lot of questions for end of term things. We're at the end of semester 2 for lots of our school districts here. So again, in the JMC office, I'm going to go back to the home screen so you can see where I'm going. I'm going to go under grading, entry to grade acceptance, just like before. This is where you turn on the ability to do grade acceptance that's listed here. Now, if I go to the grade submission log, this is where I'll be able to come and see which grades have been sent in for particular items here. So for example, if I was just doing course grades, okay, and I wanted to see who sent in their grades, who did not for this particular term, quarter 2, semester 1. What happens is people get a little confused. They come to the settings. All right, I've turned on my quarter 3. Let's even just turn it on for course grades. It's the end of quarter 3, and the grades are being sent in. All right, let's see who sent grades, and they'll come in and they'll say, all right, how come I don't see any grades listed here? Well, the reason that you don't is because no teachers have sent quarter 3 grades in yet. That's the key. We're only going to show in this drop-down list once a teacher has sent grades in. So I think, and actually I haven't tried this out yet, but here I am in quarter 3. Let's go to edit to course grades. Should tell me that I can send in quarter 3 grades here. Second. Yep, I can send quarter 3 grades in. All right, let's turn this to semester 2. And I don't think I have any grades in, so I'm just going to put a couple of grades in for a student here. All right, let's put in semester. Actually, let's see if I've got a quarter class here. Give me just a second. Oh, there we go. let's just give some quarter grades here. Quarter three, there we go. Let's save this. I'm gonna send all my grades in here. That's gonna send all the grades in for quarter three. It's gonna tell me to publish my grades on the teacher side. So I'm in the JMC teacher. Going back to the office side here, I'm just actually gonna refresh this screen. Got my course grades for quarter three. Now when I go to the grade submission log here, I can choose quarter two or semester one and quarter three. I can't see it until one teacher has sent in their grades. And here's that one teacher, Mr. Freed, has had their grades imported. Here's the teachers that have not listed there as well. So you're not going to see it until at least one teacher has sent their grades. So, all right, Linda, last question here. You're doing a fantastic job. All right, Linda.
Question 4. I have a parent trying to log into the JMC family portal, and when they use the correct username and password, it doesn't work. Why would that be?
Yeah, this can kind of stump some people sometimes. I will tell you, the most common reason that I run into that parents can't log into the family portal is that they're not logging into the family portal, right? They're coming here to this screen right here, and or wherever they've got a link. And here they are, instead of clicking on the family portal, they're going to office, or they're going to student, maybe the student portal. And they're just logging in there and over again, doesn't work. That's the most common idea there. But actually, I should be asking the team, what are some other, does anybody know, Matt or Sherry or Rachel, any other reasons why somebody might not be able to log into their JMC family portal?
One of the big new things is that we now require exact password matching. So make sure that if they have a capital password and lowercase and or numbers, that they're typing exactly with the correct case.
Yep. So what Matt was saying there again, just to repeat, is that it has to be all uppercase and lowercase for that password here, right? It has to match there exactly as well. So that's one reason sometimes people are not putting the case sensitive items in there. Great. Anybody else? Sherry, we had talked about one a little while ago. Do you remember another reason why people are not able to log into the JMC family portal? And if you don't,
Well,
that's okay.
can it possibly sometimes be their device or their browser? I mean, sometimes it can be that as well.
I don't think so. I haven't run into that because any web browser should work, but that's a good guess. Can
Okay.
anybody think of another reason?
They don't have any kids attached to their account.
That could be
Another
it.
reason.
Yep. Another reason is that if they have the same username and password, they can't log in. It won't let either person log in. So if another contact here has demo as the username and the password is Paul99, it will not let them log in. When does this most commonly happen? It happens when there is a divorce during the school year. You've got a mom and a dad, last name are Smith, and they're connected, right? We have dad and mom demo, right? So I'm just gonna put this in just like this. And then they get divorced or separated, whatever it might be. And what happens is they say, okay, well, we're gonna keep this contact like it is. I'm gonna take mom's name off here. And then they go and they create another contact called mom demo, but the username is demo and the password is the same password. You can't log in. It won't let them log in if they have the same username and the same password at the same time.
We actually had an update for that last year, Paul, so you can't even do that any longer.
Oh,
So if there was an existing situation where you had the same username and same password on two contacts, that would be the case where you wouldn't be able to log in. It would not allow them because we don't know which of the two that you're trying to log in as. But now with the new, this is over a year ago, we made it so you can't have the same username and same password on two contacts. So I'll actually tell you that. And
that
the
is
cool thing there,
right
go
there.
back there once, Paul. The
Yeah.
cool thing is that we do give you suggestions there too. These are
Yeah.
available. So where it says that this username is not unique, we give you suggestions of usernames that are unique. So in that case, if you type demo02, that we know is available.
And it keeps giving me different ones. It's auto generating this username suggestion. That's really cool. Wow, I didn't know that. So I learned something today. See, that's why I got the experts on. Great.
Hey, can I ask
All right.
another question? Just be the
Yeah.
mic. Does it matter what year? I mean, if they are brand new
It
in,
does
like-
not.
No? Okay, good. See, so all these things. Thank you, Matt.
It doesn't matter because there's one record for families for the entire JMC lifetime, right? No matter what year they're in. The contact records are stored outside of these years here. And that's one thing people like about JMC when they switch from other student information systems. It's not a record per year. Because if I change it here and I go back to print labels in 2021, 22 for kids, if a parent has moved and they've updated their address in the current year, it updates it in previous years as well. The other thing that we have that helps that is these old addresses. So I don't think there's gonna be one in here. Oh, there's some old addresses in here. And this is because, especially in like the state, I think of Iowa and Minnesota, funding can change depending on where they lived and if they move and so on and so forth. So it was having that old addresses was a great option in there as well. So this was
Hey,
a great
Paul.
one to go. Yeah, go ahead.
So what I'm hearing is that really make sure for schools, make sure they're on the right site, right? And if it's not working, check the spell, check with the office to make sure you have the right, capitalization, what have you. So really there's not, that really helps schools to pinpoint what the problem is. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And honestly, this is if somebody ever calls and and says, hey, I can't my parent can't log in or whatever, I tell them the same thing and then they never typically call me back, which is this. Number one, make sure that they're in the right portal. And then number two, you go in as in the office. So here's my contacts. I've never logged in as this person before. It's bus driver. This is just a demo database. I come in here and I put username. I just literally copy, paste that in there, and I copy. I don't type it in. I copy and paste, right? Oops. Put in the right spot. There we go. Log in. And there we go. It'll work every time unless they have this. Well, now they can't have the same username and password. So that's cool in that way. All right. Rachel, was there a couple of questions I saw up there? Would you like to read off one of those questions?
Sure.
Or is it
All
just
right.
is it somebody just complimenting our great JMC knowledge? If it is, you can just pass that right along,
The compliments are from me. But
appreciate that.
the first question is from Dan. He says, is there a way to track time spent and remaining for detention? I see that there is a way to enter data, but not track time left. Most schools use some type of a time system. If we don't have something like that, can we recommend something that would?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've talked about doing a detention tracker in JMC. We don't have one at the current time. It's never quite risen to the top of the request list. I would encourage you though to come in JMC under submit a feature request, put a feature request in, and when you go to submit a feature request, you can actually search first. I think there's one in there for detention and you can vote it up or you can put your new one in there as well. That would be the best thing to do because I think it's something that's exciting. I think it's something that we should look at in the future because a lot of schools do detention. Some don't anymore. And I think that's why it's not as hot of a topic as it used to be. But for sure, go ahead and put that in. Some people have used, this is not even something I really recommend. I guess it can work. I've never followed the whole process through, but you could use a custom field to track if they have detention and how much time is left. And the reason you could do that is that teachers can, in their JMC teacher, go under a student list and run a report to see for students how much, well, whatever they have listed in a custom field. So a teacher could see that, but it's not really designed for that. It depends on how much detention you're giving, right? If you've got 20 kids in your school who've got detention, and you just want to track how much time they spent and how much time they have left, it probably could work for you. I don't think it would be probably a problem. You're just putting it in these particular fields here that you would list. If you start to get into lots of students, I don't think it would be the right solution for that. But I appreciate you asking that, and for sure, either put that as a feature request or vote up another feature request if it's already in there. Great question. Unless anybody else has an idea on that, but I think that's the only thought that I've had with that. Alrighty. Who was that? And who was that? Who was it that asked that question?
That was Brad.
Okay,
Or, I'm sorry,
Brad,
not Brad. I'm sorry, it was Dan. I'm sorry, Dan.
Dan, that's right. Well, Dan, why don't you email training@jmcinc.com and let them know you sent a question and we didn't have a good answer for, and we'll send you a little bit of swag there. So just training@jmcinc.com and say, hey, I asked a great question today, and then give us your mailing address. We'll send you something. All right. What, do we have another question there?
We do, from Rebecca. She asks, is there a way to mass change all the English learners' start dates at the beginning of each year?
Is there a way to mass change English learner start dates at the beginning of each year?
There's not a mass change field for that, or a way that we, in the app. But if that's something that you'd like, you just need to send a request into our tech support, and we can do that for you.
Great. There you go. I think that's Rebecca McMullen, my friend from up northeast Minnesota. We were just talking about you at AIM Academy, Rebecca, because I was just down there. So that's a great answer. So we don't have anything to mass fill that in, but if you want, because you got a lot of students that you're doing your Mars reporting for, email our support team what the school is, because I know you work with a few schools, what the date you want entered in, and then they can mass fill that for you. So great job,
Yep.
Rebecca. Yep. Go ahead, Matt. Oh, I thought you had
Oh,
something.
that was it. I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, great. That sounds good. So Rebecca, you also had a great question. So you should email training@jmcience.com and we can send you some swag up there as well. So great. Rachel, is there any other questions?
That is it for now.
Okay. Does anybody else on our team have any questions or other questions that you'd like people to know about? Just things that can kind of stump some people sometimes. Sherry, you work with new schools. Rachel, you do some with health and tuition and fees. Anything that other folks wants to go over before we wrap this one up? I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I've got one. Lots of times I'll work with schools that have trickier questions or, just that need a little more hand holding. And a lot of times questions come up about GPAs. The parent says the GPA is not right, or why does this student have this GPA, or whatever it might be. And one screen that we have that is super helpful is under grading, utilities, show GPA. Grading, utilities, show GPA. This screen is just the best because what it does is oops, here, go student here. I don't have a great example, but one that's got some grades in there. It will show you why like a student has all the courses. Let me look actually see if I've got some quarter grades in here. I don't have any quarter grades in here. Let me just switch to last year because I think I've got some in here for. See, it's easier if I show some grades. Let's see here. It will show you. Let's go to quarter one here. There we go. It'll show you the courses the student has over the term or year or cum, the weight of that course, the grade, the value. It takes the value times the effective weight equals the grade points, gives you the total and how the GPA is calculated exactly. So if a family ever has a question, or a student, why is my GPA this way for term, year, or cum, whatever they want, you come in here, you print this off and say, this is exactly why it's that way. GPAs are always calculated correctly in James, 100% of the time, but they only can be calculated based on the data that's in there. So if a weight is incorrect, I was just actually at a school this last week and somebody had went in and changed their term type from semesters to quarters or vice versa, but didn't change the weight. Yeah, that's going to cause a problem. So I help walk them through. This is how you can see how it's calculated. You can always change the weight, of course. I wouldn't do that willy-nilly, but this screen, grading, utilities, show GPA is a fantastic way to see exactly why a student's GPA is calculated. Also, if kids are not included in the honor roll, or it's not, GPA is not as high as you think, whatever it is, you can also come here as well. So for example, this health class is not included in the GPA. Well, should it be? Well, then I need to go to edit schedules, course, edit course data and edit that, or maybe it shouldn't be. This is the screen that you would use. So, okay, great. Rachel, do we have some more questions?
We do. Rebecca's got another good one. She wants to know, do we have a training coming up regarding EdFi only process?
For the EdFi only process for Mars, this is a Minnesota question. We do not, because everything for Mars and EdFi that you would need to know is in our YouTube channel, very popular channel there. You can actually come here and you can search under videos, you can search Minnesota. I'm actually going to scroll down to it. Sometimes when I search on Firefox, YouTube and Firefox don't necessarily like each other. And I think that's because Google owns YouTube is my understanding. I'll come down here. It is almost there. It's the blue one, which is the Minnesota State Reporting Roundup. This one goes over the entire process of doing Mars to EdFi. If you say, well, I only want the EdFi part, that's okay. You can just scroll down and go to more underneath any of our videos, and you can see when what the chapters are. So if you want to come here and do our right here, the start, that would be starting production would be the EdFi part. You go right to there, click the first number 10950, and it's going to take you right to there, which is on. It's going to say that's starting the production round, which is there, and that's going to go through first, of course, submit a Mars fall submission or spring submission, and then going through those EdFi parts as well. So that is the regular EdFi. If you're looking to do the Minnesota Common Course Catalog, again, this is for Minnesota only. We are rolling our first one out next Wednesday at this same time, and I will show you that at the end of this train. So we'll be rolling out for Minnesota clients only, Minnesota Common Course Catalog, EdFi reporting. We'll have a training on that every month and a work session every month through June. So that's exciting there. We answered that one. What do we got, Rach?
All right, we have a question here from Caitlin. Is there a way to choose more than one fee report instead of one or all?
Rachel, what do you think on that one?
I think it depends on what type of report you're trying to run. If you are looking at, say, like your fee account payments.
There, the district, yep. Let me actually just switch to the current school year because I'm still in.
Here it is one or all. It
is one or all, but yeah, that's correct. But you could export it to a spreadsheet if you wanted to see just some of them, right? So I could do all in export. So that's that one. Fee payment.
Yes. Oh, that's where I was going to tell you to go. I was thinking maybe this one was different, but no, it looks like this is the same way. So yeah, I think that Paul's advice. Yep, go ahead. You can click that by random, and I'm not sure if you can pick.
That's by students. Yep, yeah, that's right. Yep.
I wasn't sure if it would change that. Yeah, so it is one or all, but like Paul said, if you export that list, then you can kind of sort those fees out in, you know, your Excel spreadsheet or whatever, so that you can look at just those couple of fees that you want to look at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is the same there as well. But so the export, I mean, that's a good thing to do, but I hear you saying that it would be nice in the future, and you can sure submit a feature request if you want to as well, to have like a multi-select option there or something like that. So great question. Great. Anybody else have any other questions for this crew before we wrap it up, or anybody from our local crew here?
I would say yesterday I had a question similar to the question about why can't families log into the family portal, but it was more the family app, and kind of similar advice, double checking your username password. Remember that your password is case sensitive, but also making sure that your families have the right mobile PIN.
Yes, that's right. And that mobile PIN can be found in a variety of places. Let's see here. The one that I think is easiest is just on the home page of the family portal. That PIN number, oh, I gotta log out here. It's listed right here is the mobile PIN for your district. That's usually where I go. There, Matt, there is another spot, right? Is it under JMC Family app settings? There is another spot inside the office program. I just can't remember where it is because I always send people to, here it is, yeah.
Right,
it's the mobile PIN is right there as well. So the place where you do the settings is also listed here as well. I think it's easiest to send a text message to your families through the message center. Say, hey, families, make sure to, download your JMC mobile app, and here's the PIN, and give it to them right there. So instead of waiting for families to ask for it, I would send it out. Great. Rachel, is another question here before we wrap it up, or is that?
Yeah, it looks like another one just popped in from Pamela. She's asking, family username is not case sensitive, but password is, and I believe she is correct.
That is correct, yeah.
So family username is not case sensitive, but the password is. And that's where if families are just typing things in, whether they use case sensitive or not. And I agree with that too. I think that's pretty much industry standard. Sometimes people type in caps and sometimes they don't. So great question. All right. Well, this has been a good session. Let's wrap this up here and bring up our slides. I want to say, first of all, thanks to all my crew who is here to help with this particular session. Very helpful to ask questions and answer questions. So JMC news and upcoming events. You can search for webinars today and you'll be able to see those. Next week is the one that Rebecca McMullen was talking about, Minnesota MCC Ed-Fi reporting. That's Minnesota clients only. And then on February 14th, ICYMI means in case you missed it, utilizing features of JMC's collaboration tools. Rachel, I think, are you the one that put that presentation together? Was that a Chris Cooper?
That is me.
Nice job. So that's going to be a good one there as well. Then on the week of 221, 222, we've got another in case you missed it, utilizing the features of JMC's refreshed new family enrollment portal. Although we might have changed that one. I'll have to double check and see. But for sure on 222, we've got the Minnesota MCC Ed-Fi work session. That's a follow-up to this Minnesota MCC Ed-Fi reporting. And then on 228, our first of 2 sessions on master schedule building. Always one of our most popular trainings. Course creation and registering students for master schedule building in 24-25. So, always one of our biggest watched or attended webinars. Make sure you sign up for it. Whoever's doing your master schedule building in your high school, sometimes middle school, should watch that video. All right, calling all shared superintendents now through March 31st, 2024. You switch to your second district to JMC, you'll get it for free. Give our sales team a call at 1-800-524-8182 extension 2 or email sales@jmcinc.com to learn more. We're looking for a few JMC superstars at almost every JMC school. We find unofficial JMC go-to person. This is the person colleagues might contact if they have a quick question about a module. You may hear them sharing JMC tips and tricks with a colleague over lunch. When a JMC training comes up, they're one nominated for a school. Sound like someone you know, or maybe it's you. Whoever it is that came to mind, we want to meet them. Why? Well, we've learned along the way that these JMC superstars make the best client service specialists, and we're looking for a passionate part-time client service specialist all over the Midwest. Apply today by submitting your resume and cover letter to hr@jmcinc.com. It's a great way to stay connected with education. If you're retiring from your job, this is a great part-time gig. We do have some people who still work in their schools, but have some extra time set aside for this. So lots of opportunities there as well. Another great way to stay up to date on all things JMC is through our social media presence. Also on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn @OnlineJMC. Our blog, jmcinc.com/news. So on behalf of myself and the programming team who is here today, the training team, the new school onboarding team, we appreciate your time today and thank you for choosing JMC.